morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the All-American Savage Show podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. It is Monday morning. Today is, what is today? Today is January 31st, Monday morning. It's roughly 11:28 a.m. CST here outside of Dallas, Texas, with a brisk little cool front pushing in. Apparently this weekend it's supposed to drop down to like 9 degrees. This weekend it's supposed to be like 9 degrees.
Sweet.
Yesterday it was 74 degrees. Perfect riding weather. And I think this is also, a friend of mine said this is why they also call it Mother Nature, because they can't make up her goddamn mind what the fuck she wants to do. And we just pissed off the feminists. That's great. Nailed it. It's like, where do you want to eat? I don't care. We go wherever you want. It's like Taco Bell. Well, not there. Like, okay, then where do you want? Well, I'll go where you want to go. Okay, Outback. No, not there either. Like, where the fuck do you want to go?
I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, clearly you do care. So, but anyway, big thank you for tuning in. Of course, this episode is brought to you by ShellshockCBD.com. Josh is on a company. We're in year 3. This is month 1 of fiscal year 3. We appreciate your love and support. Again, we've launched the Airborne Gummies, which are Delta 9, and we continue getting this question of, hey, if I order Delta 8 and it's illegal in my state, we at Shell Shock cannot ship to you. But we probably can, more than likely, are able to ship Delta 9 to you. Delta 9 basically replicates what Delta 8 does. You can check it out. All the FAQs are answered on the website at ShellshockCBD.com. You can see it there. Greatly appreciate your love and support on Shell Shock. You guys are fucking incredible. We love that you love our products. They work for you. We're so happy that it's doing something for a good majority of the people out there that are purchasing from us. So we cannot thank you enough. Again, all ingredients right here in America. Nothing is outsourced outside of America. We love and appreciate your support. Without it, we would not be here.
Yeah, we've had so many great reviews.
We have. Yeah,
I mean, really even just over the weekend.
Yeah.
Lady,
oh, yeah, you sent them to me. Yeah.
talking about the Delta 8 gummies, how they've helped her with postpartum.
Yep.
And just dealing with pain and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's so much more to these products than just getting you stoned.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it's just ultimately people have to see that. They have to do a little education or a little research on their part, and they'll actually see that. So a lot of still getting a lot of feedback on the interview with Dan Crenshaw. I'm getting messages from various other, I should say, influencer types that listen to the podcast. Apparently, again, it is still making the rounds through Congress. Really happy to hear that. I think Josh talked about Dan Bongino had like maybe given it a little side shot. I don't know. But it's being discussed. Like it's being discussed.
He had listened to the podcast from what he was saying, just about everybody's upset with people who are in government and then also doing or day traders on the side.
Yeah,
it's
like and I can't agree with Crenshaw on that one. I think he's off. But anyway, it's just I'm really glad that the actual podcast is making the rounds there. So hey, if you listen to this show, it entertains you. It makes you smile, makes you laugh, you learn something. Do us a favor, give us a shout out on social media. We appreciate that love and support. And don't forget to follow my Instagram. My verified one got banned. Still working to get it back. Doubt it's going to happen, but you never know. My new Instagram is JohnBurke11 and then the letter B. So JohnBurke11B. Check that out. Appreciate the support there. But all right. We ready to get this Monday kicked off with this day in history? Are we ready this time? This day in history. Truman announces the development of the H-bomb on January 31st of 1950. U.S. President Harry S. Truman publicly announces his decision to support the development of the hydrogen bomb, a weapon theorized to be hundreds of times more powerful than the atomic bombs dropped on Japan during World War II. 5 months earlier, the United States had lost its nuclear supremacy when the Soviet Union successfully detonated an atomic bomb at their test site in Kazakhstan. Then, several weeks after that, British and U.S. intelligence came to the staggering conclusion that German-born Klaus Fuchs... No, that's his name. Klaus Fuchs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. His name is spelled F-U-C-H-S. Klaus Fuchs. Fuchs.
good for him.
Nice. That's a cool name. Like, Fucks, like in gym class, like, Fucks, like here, Fucks right here. I mean, that's a pretty good name. That had to be a hard childhood, but then like a great adult, a great adult. Anyway, all right, let's get back into it.
Okay.
A top-ranking scientist in the U.S. nuclear program was a spy for the Soviet Union. These two events and the fact that the Soviets knew nothing or now knew everything that the Americans did about how to build a hydrogen bomb led Truman to approve massive funding for the superior race to complete the world's first super bomb, as he described it in his public announcement on January 31st of 1950. That concludes this day in history.
Beautifully read.
I don't give a fucks. I appreciate that. That was well done.
Good stuff.
I saw something. Man, do I really want to do it? Fuck it, whatever. Okay, look. Here's the thing. I don't know why I am the way I am sometimes. There's just so many contributing factors. I don't like when people try and insult my intelligence or insult other people's intelligence. And this is something I've seen. We all know what's going on with the whole Joe Rogan thing, Neil Young, them going at each other. We're going to talk about that later in the program today, that actually Joe Rogan made a statement on his Instagram. We're going to delve into that. But there's something that kind of aggravates me that I see conservatives do that mirror the left, or they try and use the left to essentially make money. And the reason I'm saying this, and this is not a call out, I'm not trying to fire some shots. I want to educate you, the audience, the viewer, especially the boomers out there, the boomer Republicans that just don't seem to understand when they are being manipulated from the right. This is a thing. Okay. In light of what's going on with Neil Young, who, if you don't know, Neil Young basically said that if Spotify continues to host Joe Rogan's podcast, which he's accused of spreading COVID misinformation, he is removing his music. Therefore, Spotify said, okay, boomer, and they kicked his music off. Now, Apple is doubling down. This is what conservatives don't see. Apple is now pushing Neil Young's music up the charts. It's not people wanting to listen to Neil Young. Apple is basically doing this in their algorithm to launch him to the top, to give them the optic they are supporting this Neil Young, who is a representation of saying, I don't stand for misinformation. When come to find out, a lot of the things Joe Rogan has discussed is coming into fruition from the experts he brought on. So Neil Young is the face, according to the left, of being against misinformation, even though it's opposite. That's where we're at. That's where we live, ladies and gentlemen. That's the funny part about this. So as a result, Neil Young's music is climbing up the Apple charts. Now, that's not people wanting to listen to Neil Young, okay? That's them manipulating it. Now, as a result, I've seen some conservative influencers on Twitter that you guys are just as bad as the left. I'm not going to call this kid out by name. I don't know this rapper, but he knows what he's doing. He says, the left is currently pushing Neil Young's album to the top of the iTunes charts. He's currently number 3 all genres. Let's beat them. I'm currently number 28 all genres. Just type in blah, 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 blah in the iTunes store. Which narrative will we do?
I saw that too.
Are you kidding me? And people, and you go read the comments on, and I got no beef with this guy, but it's like, don't insult my intelligence.
Yeah.
All you're trying to do is use the us versus them narrative to essentially, like, to make money. And I'm not against that, but do it the right way. If your music, and yeah, Neil Young doesn't even own his music. We're going to get to that. Thank you, John Ward on YouTube. 100%. Neil Young does, yeah. We're going to see that. But this us versus them, this is basically capitalism at heart. This has nothing to do with activism. It's just capitalism, using activism as the cover. If we really think about it, Neil Young's getting boosted up the charts. He's making more money because essentially he said, hey, I'm coming off of Spotify, blah, 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 blah. Neil Young, come to find out, like, has a 50% ownership of, long story short, owner of one of the vaccine companies, is part owner in a group that invests in his music. So it's kind of like, oh, go figure. But what I don't agree with, what I think is just very insulting to people's intelligence, is that if you tell me, hey, to combat the left, financially support me, how is that combating the left exactly, please? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. By launching your album up the charts, how is that fighting it back against Neil Young? Nobody cares. I don't understand this. This isn't fighting the left. This is not owning the libs. This is just you making money, which I'm not against. But stop portraying this us versus them to line your pockets. That's ridiculous to me. I can't agree with that. If you have a good product, and this is where business and politics split now. If you've got a good product, if you're a good musician, whatever, you'll do that on your own. Or you get picked up by record labels, you play the game there. But using politics, I'm starting to see some of these big fucking grifters come in here.
I don't even know that you need a record label anymore.
You don't. Like, you've had people get discovered on YouTube, Spotify, things like that. You can upload your own content now.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how do you get distributed. And there's other things that go into that. I get that. Like, if you really want to get big, you are eventually going to have to sign with a huge deal Like, rarely do people make it through independently, and a lot do.
Yeah, I guess if you want to set up venues and go and perform and that kind of stuff.
I mean, Tommy Vex is doing it. He's doing a kick-ass job at that. But the point still stands, though, is this us versus them to sell product is just the most cheapest way to do it. You know, and that's why I don't agree with this. Like, this is stupid because ultimately, who is really benefiting from us versus them when it comes to music, clothing, coffee, whatever? Ultimately, the two people at the top. Mm-hmm. Nobody under them benefits in any way. Nobody gives a crap. Like, hey, let's own the left, buy my coffee. You think liberals are really going to give a crap if you buy some coffee from a veteran-owned company or whatever the case may be? I saw these things as far as like, hey, buy this gold coin of Trump and stick it to Nancy Pelosi. You think Nancy Pelosi gives a crap that you own a gold coin with Trump's picture on it?
Doubloon.
You think Nancy Pelosi is going to roll over in her bed at night going, I really don't like the fact that they're doing that.
Bastards.
She doesn't give two shits about you.
Putting her eyebrows on.
But I'm telling you this.
Angrily.
Because I'm sitting here. I want to educate you, the consumer, not to fall for the tactics being used by both sides of this. Instead, you should buy Shell Shock. No. You get where I'm going? Does that make sense to you? I hope that makes sense. Like, when they try and do this us versus them tactic to throw money at this, okay, so what if this kid's chart, or what if this kid's album reached the top of the chart? What then?
Did it already? Is he the one who did the Let's Go Brandon rap?
I don't know.
Because that one went like organically.
Oh, yeah, organically, about 100%. Yeah. And then they censored him, too.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I can understand people trying to jump on board and help boost that and say, let's get this out because they censored it. But if there's no censorship going down and you're on an even playing field, no, I'm not going to buy your album simply because, hey, I just want to say fuck you to the left. That's stupid to me.
Yeah.
The left does not give a shit, nor should the right give a shit what the left does.
Right.
Like, hey, if you want to go out there and burn your Carhartt, do your thing, I would suggest donating it or just ripping the labels off. I get that. Yeah, but this has gone to the point where it's just gone stupid.
I couldn't name one Neil song right now unless I looked it up.
Keep on rocking in the free world. That was him. Okay. And the only reason I know that is because Joe Rogan said he's going to keep on podcasting in the free world, which is very funny to me because Neil Young talks about, he was like anti-establishment. You look at Neil Young, Howard Stern, all these old school metal bands and people that lived up in that or grew up in that age with that genre. You've become the establishment. You lost your sense of anarchy or anti-government. You became the establishment.
It ended in 2008.
Why 8? Why do you say
8? Because I think that's when Obama came on and he seemed like the cool president and everybody wanted to.
Hey, it's cool to be square. It's cool to be a part of the establishment. You should try it sometime. We have cookies.
Right. So I think that's kind of when it when it ended. For me anyway, that's what I.
Well, it's disappointing to see, like who was the one band, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
And they required vaccinations. They played at venues that required vaccinations so you can go attend. It's like, that's not really raging against the machine.
No,
the machine being the government.
Big group of pussies.
Yeah, you really are. It's like you sit there. It comes down to this: money.
Yeah.
You had John Cena apologize about China. He's playing the game. Then you had another group come out, or I forget who it was. He had to apologize to China. Who was this? We were just talking about this prior to the show.
Let's see. It was like Fight Club.
Yeah, they changed China. Communist China changed the ending of Fight Club. For those that don't know this. They regulate information. And this is why the left or those that are calling for censorship of Joe Rogan, you are so ignorant because what you've done or what you're pushing for is allowing government to come in here and censor what you deem as misinformation. Ultimately, you're going to get what's happening in the CCP where they alter everything to keep you safe.
Lord of War.
Yeah.
They changed the ending.
They don't even realize this. This is how stupid some of these people are. They are so ignorant that it's like, well, misinformation should be regulated. No, it shouldn't. Because then what gives that government the right to determine what and what is not misinformation?
See,
they don't have that right. They should never have that right.
In the
That's another Orwellian pipe dream.
Yeah, the Chinese version of Lord of War. But has anybody seen Lord of War?
Yeah, isn't that the one with Nicolas Cage where he's an arms dealer?
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so at the end of it, he tells this FBI
Spoiling
guy,
alert. Spoiler alert. Here we go.
So
it's been out for 10, 15 years?
Yeah, so
at this point, it's on you. Whatever.
He's like, Nicolas Cage, he's like, this is what's going to happen.
We're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm going to get out of here. Basically. And that's exactly what happened. So someone knocks on the door. It's a general or something. And then he takes Nicolas Cage and he continues to deal arms. And in the Chinese version, it looks like he confesses to everything and spends his life in prison.
How do they change the ending without the actors doing it?
I guess they shoot alternate scenes. I mean, that's the only way they.
But how would China get access to that?
This
Either that or they like
article
do an
here,
ending and then they do the sub, or they do like the thing. So and so.
Yeah. It says at the end, it comes up when he leaves the room, I guess, with like the text that says he confessed to all the crimes and the government got him, and he's
this from the government of China.
Right. But even still,
wow.
It's but it looks like
you want the government doing the thinking for you, ladies and gentlemen. Then push for censorship. That's what happens.
It looks like a lot of these companies already do alternate endings.
Oh yeah, well
because they know that China is going to.
Well, no, but there was a lot of that originally. Was that you could? That was part of like why you buy the DVD set. You can get the alternate ending, the extended scenes. I watched the Lord of the Rings thing yesterday where they were doing the same thing. Yeah. So not for China. I'm just talking about they really have extended scenes because you have some diehard movie fans that want to see like 10 seconds extra of a certain scene. It's like,
and Face Off, instead of eating a peach all day long, he ate a banana.
Oh God,
I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was like, what? What does that have to do with anything? But okay, I can see them.
Brindle Bear.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I could eat a peach.
All right.
I could eat a banana.
I forgot to go over this article. I got to bring this up real quick, but all right, let's get into it. Let's get into this. Let's do the news. We need to have some intro music for the news as well. We got to come up with that later, too. Also, hey, by the way, if you're tuning in right now, we appreciate your love and support. Don't forget, we are still working on the allamericans.com website. That's coming soon. What this is going to entail is that we'll be writing articles to get information out there to you that would normally be censored, or we can actually write it in the way that we want to write it. We'll be hosting the podcast there. And you can check that out, and you can sign up for the email list. Again, we will not be spamming you bullshit ads. Here is the link. It's allamericans.com. 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 Go sign up for the email list. John, can y'all turn up y'all's volume? I don't know why, but when I listen to you versus others, it's always low. We can try and do that, I guess, just a little bit. But there we go. We'll do that. So again, it's allamericans.com. You can check it out there. Sign up for the email list. Again, you have my word. We're not going to spam you with bullshit. This allows us to send you out newsletters that I want to go out every Monday with what's going on in social media, the world, and shell shock, all this stuff. So it's basically kind of like just a newsletter. I'm not going to spam it. We're going to try and do every Monday, if not every other Monday. I don't know, but it will be on Mondays to get you information, to let you know about, hey, this new podcast launch, or if we're going to have a special guest, announce that. We're also going to be doing giveaways. Every Friday, we're going to be doing giveaways for that list specifically. And this Friday, we'll be doing 2 tankards. 2 of the tankards from Tipsy's Woodworking we'll be giving away to 2 lucky email subscribers. So that's coming this Friday, but you have to be on that list. And again, to sign up on that list, go to allamericans.com. In the future, we'll probably give away some other stuff as well. But again, it gets you access to the website. We'll be posting really funny articles there, videos, skits, and things like that. So we really appreciate all the stuff that y'all do for us. So Lonesome Lenny on YouTube says, this channel sucks. Well, okay, well, I ban you. There you go. Block user on YouTube. There you go. Now you don't have to deal with it. I did you a favor. I don't know what you were really going. This channel sucks. Okay. Do you want a refund for money you didn't pay? I don't know.
Here, let me get your change for you. There it is.
Josh is giving a middle finger. All right, this is from Fox News, and these are pictures that you can see. If you're watching on Twitch, again, a big thank you to the Twitch audience. We're at the John Burke on Twitch, where we film this live. Newsom, California Dem leaders defy state's own universal mask mandate at Rams 49ers game. And you can see the pictures here. This is from Magic Johnson posted these pictures. Governor Gavin Newsom and other Democratic California leaders were spotted maskless at the 49ers-Rams game despite the state's universal indoor mask mandate. Hanging out at SoFi Stadium today, former Lakers star Magic Johnson tweeted Sunday evening, accompanied by photos of him posing indoors with Gavin Newsom, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, and San Francisco Mayor London Breed. Now, I'm going to share this article in the chat for you that are watching right now, just so you're seeing this is, you can get directly from the source. This is tweeted out by Magic Johnson. This is confirmed. In these photos, you see the mayors, you see the governor. They're all standing next to Magic Johnson. And what's kind of funny about this, and the people aren't going to understand this, but this is what's funny about this. Number one, yes, they're defying the indoor mask policy that Newsom has put on the people, okay? These are the rich elites that have closed you down. They have inflated the economy. They have crippled you in so many different ways, why it's so expensive in California. These are the rich elites that contribute to this. Now, the funny part about this is what ties Magic Johnson and these other rich white liberals together? Fauci. Do you remember the 80s scare with Fauci? Magic Johnson had AIDS. Magic Johnson was one of the poster boys for AIDS. Fauci got AIDS really wrong. Really wrong.
Terribly wrong.
Fauci is getting COVID really wrong. Really wrong. I mean,
scumbag.
Isn't that kind of funny to y'all? It's kind of funny to me.
Weird.
This is where we're at. None of the California leaders of Johnson were wearing masks in the photo. California implemented a universal indoor mask mandate in December that was extended to run through February 15th. SoFi Stadium, located in Inglewood, also has a mask policy requiring all fans to mask up unless they are eating or drinking. In these photos, they're not even holding a mask. There's no mask to be seen. It's not like, hey, let's take it off real quick for a photo. There is no mask in their hands, and they're not eating and they're not drinking. They're taking a photo. Well, last I checked, according to their mandates, photography isn't in there. It's only if you're eating or drinking.
Correct.
So what are these guys doing? You're breaking your mandates. That's a big no-no. No. That's a no. That's a bad. That's a bad governor. No. You should be fired. You should be fired.
I can't believe that guy won.
I can. This is how stupid a lot of Californians are. You continue electing people that don't give a shit about you.
I mean,
seriously. I don't know what you want me to say. This is a result of having more stupid Democratic voters in one state that continue electing idiots that are ruining their state. I got another article I want to get to that has Michael Rappaport. This guy who does all this shit talking on Instagram. This guy, everything I've said as far as like how the MSM is starting to go more central, watch, because celebrities are going to start doing the same thing. And here's why. I'm gonna break it down for you here later in the show. But it's kind of funny to see this because, again, I'm not sitting here trying to toot my own horn, but I didn't think that celebrities would do this. I knew the MSM would do. I would never see some leftist celebrities go this direction, and they are. Which, it's a good thing to see, but at the same token, it's like, wow. You want to talk about how extreme the left has gotten to the point where you're alienating these A-list celebrities that are like, okay, you guys have gone way too crazy. I have to go back to...
Because they're the minority.
Yeah.
Not a majority of America thinks like they think. Like, they're these limousine liberals who promote socialism and yet live a completely different lifestyle than
everybody else.
100%. Like the lockdown, they're doing videos of themselves with their bowling alleys in their homes.
I know, yeah.
Like on their
we're in this together, but we're all going to watch a movie in my theater room tonight.
I mean, they've got their own... it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think they're feeling the backlash of the rest of America. Be like, you guys are a bunch of douchebags.
No, they are. The press offices for Newsom, Breed, and Garcetti did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment on the maskless photos, nor will they. They're not going to address this. What? Ladies and gentlemen, look, California, these are your leaders. You elected them, and clearly they are violating their own mandates. This is Marie Antoinette. Let them have cake. They don't care. They don't give a damn about you.
Mm-mm.
They do the role. They play the part to appear altruistic, all that other stuff. But this is what they do. They really don't care about you. And they shouldn't have to. Realistically, if you really think about it, like these mask mandates, it's not their role. That is not government's role.
No.
But again, rules for thee, not for me. This is what you elected. I don't know why these people are still in office. Quite honestly, I don't know why they haven't been tarred and feathered. Again, this is elitism. This is political elitism. This is wrong. Classism, if you will. And here we have Michael Rappaport. You got to love Michael. This is the biggest shit talker on social media. Like, this guy is the biggest nerd I have ever seen that has got a mouth that I'm surprised this guy has not gotten his nose broken every single time he's opened his mouth. Like, this is one of those guys that, like, he needs to get his ass beat. And that way he starts learning to stop talking shit about people that are better than him. Michael Rappaport is one of those guys. He's a typical, like, fan that's kind of like, oh, that guy's a fucking bum. It's like, well, let's go see you do better. Well, fuck him. It's like, bro, I gotta go. Yeah, he is the biggest armchair quarterbacking, sideline sitting, D-less celebrity. He's not even in movies anymore. Like, this guy, like, talks so much shit about people, like, that are better than him. Like, that are actually out on that field playing their hearts out. And he tells like, that guy's fucking washed. He's a loser. This guy is a loser.
I'm trying to think of what movies he's been in. I think
he's been in a lot of supporting roles. He's never been in like a main role that's actually blown up. He's always been in support. And to be fair,
He's the person that always dies in the movie.
Yeah, I think he was in that one about the sharks, Deep Blue Sea or something.
Look, we need someone to die immediately.
If only real life were true. Drop him off on an island and say, "Hey, Michael, sorry, bro." Or a movie we're gonna do. We're going to space. Michael, you're wearing the red shirt. That's just the way it goes. Michael Rappaport returns to New York City Rite Aid, where he filmed alleged shoplifter. This is a true story. Michael Rappaport, the actor who returned to New York City Rite Aid, where he filmed an alleged shoplifter, calmly walking out of the store with a few bags packed with goods, and updated his followers that the store's shelves are now bare. He says, "I'm back in Rite Aid, and there's nothing to steal because this Rite Aid, like so many other Rite Aids, is closing down because everybody stole everything," he said. "And the workers here don't know if they're getting their jobs. Congratulations, losers." This is from Michael Rappaport, the same guy that sit there and shamed people from not getting vaccinated. And then when Fauci comes out like, "We just don't know if, well, now the science has changed again, that if you get the vaccine, you can still spread it." And then Michael Rappaport, after shaming so many people, goes on Instagram and is just kind of like, you're trying to tell me now I'm a fucking super spreader. Like, you mean the government lied to me? It's like, yes, Michael, they did. Like, we sat here warning you and you wouldn't listen because, again, you're an idiot. Just like the rest of these leftist-leaning liberals, these elites that just think they know better.
Limousine liberals.
Just idiots. Yep. Fucking idiots. So, again, this is another reason why there have been so many stores in these Democrat-run states, these major blue cities, that are pulling out and withdrawing. Because, again, in places like California, they're now saying that, oh, by the way, if you steal, we're not pursuing you. This is no longer, it's now like a misdemeanor. It's not a felony anymore, something along those lines. And now all these stores are saying, well, again, if the government is going to regulate law enforcement to where they're not going to go after these people that are going after businesses, then businesses are going to start leaving those areas. And then you're going to have a lot of just mainstream cities turn into freaking cesspools like Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah, who's going to live there?
No one's going to open up a store there.
Yeah.
Because this is economics 101, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain this to people that don't realize this. These stores, if they continue, this is the picture of it. Like these stores, if you go in there and say, hey, by the way, law enforcement will not prosecute if anybody steals from your store. Well, okay, so that leaves it upon me, the store owner, to where if you come in to rob my store, I get to shoot you, which I agree with. You want to fix these problems in New York and shit like that? Let them have guns. Let them have guns. Mm-hmm. We'll have a period there to where there's going to be a lot of innocents killed. That's just the way it goes. But eventually it will write itself out. But this is a response of you eliminating guns. These store owners, how else are these store owners? Like, I don't get this. If you say the cops will not be there to help prosecute or protect your business, and at the same time you tell the business owners, but you don't have any way to protect yourself or your business, you are literally leaving yourself to the mercy of violent or just basic nonviolent criminals, thieves. What are you as a business owner supposed to do?
Yeah, what
are we supposed to do? Like what? I mean, not me. That's why I love being shell-shocked in Dallas. Like you come in my store to rob me, you're getting drug out by the medics. Yeah. Like you will not walk out of the store alive. I promise you. Like every single person in here, there's a lot of guns in the store. It's like you want to roll those dice, bro. You be my guest and see what happens.
Not a good place.
May the best man win because I've got right. You got one gun coming my way. I got at least 4 aimed at you. And that's the way it works. A armed society is a polite society.
Right.
But again, these store owners, how are they supposed to defend themselves?
And
if there is a Democrat out there if there's a Democrat in this stream that can tell me how you are supposed to prevent criminals from coming in and robbing your store while being unarmed and not having police support, please elaborate that for me. I am all ears.
I think, too, if you're saying that the insurance companies are going to
oh, yeah, those premiums are going up. Oh, God, no. Nope.
Eventually,
they'll drop you.
You're not going to be able to afford your insurance anymore.
Or they will drop you. If they see they're taking standard losses across the board with you, they will drop you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bye. Now you got nothing. Nothing.
This is what we're into. This is where we're at. This is why these blue cities are completely shit. They're going to complete shit. Like all retailers, we've seen a much higher level of brazen I'm sorry. Let me backtrack a little bit there. The retail giant did not immediately respond to an after-hours email from Fox News about Rappaport's claim that the workers there could be out of jobs. Rite Aid told Fox News that it is in the process of conducting a full investigation and will work with local law enforcement to identify and pursue this offender. Okay, this is why this is dumb. You pursue the offender, okay, but are you getting your goods back? No. You take him to court and you're going to sue this guy. Okay, what then? You getting your money back? No, probably not. That's why this guy was robbing you at the beginning. You literally are taking a loss. You are financially taking a loss. You've lost your products. You're not getting that money back.
Nope.
You report to insurance, you'll get your money back, but your premiums are going up. This continues, a pattern like this, insurance companies going to be like, okay, we're losing money on you.
Yep.
Bye, we're dropping you.
It'll be like the prices will be so insanely high.
Oh, 100%.
It's like it won't even be worth it to try to open up a company.
Basic inflation is going to say like, well, if the insurance ups its premiums, they're going to start marking up their products to cover that cost of insurance. Therefore, consumers are going to be like, well, I can get the same product over there for cheaper.
Can I get a $500 Pepsi, please?
If you're in China, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Again, this is why liberal leadership is not leadership. It's likership. They don't have the balls to do what's right for society, but to empower society. Don't let society empower the government. The government should empower society. It's like, hey, if you own a 7-Eleven on the corner here in Texas, pretty sure those dudes are armed.
Yeah.
Like, you better be careful.
That's why we need more business people in these government roles, people who have actually employed people, who have, put the skin in the game to.
Well, because they've tested a lot of theories that they know, hey, this is what worked in my company. Yeah. So, yeah.
This is what would make it work better.
Yeah.
And then, they get out and someone takes their place. You get rid of these career politicians.
Be in the position of kind of like, here's the deal. My statement is not, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. It's, I'm from the government and I'm not getting involved in your business. Deal with your shit.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm going to make sure the roads are
bingo. My job is to make sure those roads are nice.
Yeah.
You got law enforcement at your disposal,
right.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to prosecute
we don't get that.
on just... That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like, as they continue to go soft on crime, it only continues to escalate and get worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And liberals continue voting in the same direction they have always voted. When are you eventually going to get tired of it and say, you know what? Maybe we need... And this is why the narrative they have is gone like so mainstream, that it would never let them vote Republican because they view Republicans as racists. They view them as hating of minority people, when that's not the case at all. But that's the narrative they spun for so many years now, and that's why nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people will never cross the aisle because of the inaccuracies the left has basically labeled the right. But the right, quite honestly, if you look at places like Fort Worth and other places, they're very successful cities.
Yeah.
People are moving there. Their businesses are going there.
Yeah.
Austin better get its shit straight because Tesla's going to leave them in a heartbeat. You had Tesla come in there. They're going to invest so much in the local economy. But Austin, if you can't keep those city streets safe and all stuff like, they're gone. They're going to move again. That's why Musk moved out of freaking Cali, came to Texas. That's why Grunstyle, Black Rifle, a lot of these companies said these taxes in these places like Utah and shit like that, Chicago, we're going to Texas. That's why Texas pulls all these businesses in. So places like, New York and, states like California, you're losing. Like, you're hemorrhaging money. People are leaving your state. Liberals, here's the deal. If you love your political leaning so much, go to California and see how it is. I was shopping with my girlfriend yesterday, talking about the price differences in Target here versus in California. Like, she got a blow dryer here for like, I forget, it was like $15-20. She goes, over in Cali, that'd be about $50. It's like, yeah, not here.
Jeez.
That's just the deal. Like, California, it's like everyone, the cost of living out there is outrageous.
You have to make like $250,000 a year just to like be middle income.
Well, I got cousins out there in New York that they have their house on the market, $1 million. And it's a nice house. It's an older house. It's a house built in like the 60s or 70s. $1 million. I told him, I was like, you sold that. You know what $1 million can get you here in Texas? Way better and nicer that with land. A lot of land. Depending on what part of Texas you go to.
Depending on where you go. Like the housing market has skyrocketed.
It is. And it's starting to reflect because I was looking at houses to buy yesterday about possibly moving somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it. Even my local neighborhood, there's a house on the market right down the road from me that maybe 2 years ago would have been like $270. It's up to like $330 now. It's like, damn. Like, it's growing. It's growing.
Well, I think we're feeling it across the country now. It's just like, where is it worse? Like, obviously, you're going to have New York and California is going to be absolutely terrible.
Oh, my God. How people still live
move
there.
Inward, too.
I think a lot of them just don't know what's out of their bubble because I think if it was me and say, like, I lived in New York and I'm paying this much in taxes, I'm getting this much money, and I'm living like this, it's like, hey, did you know that in Texas, you keep more of your money and you make more? And so you'll get paid less, but the cost of living is far less.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like wages reflect local economy to an extent. So if you're living in New York, yeah, you're going to make more money, but you're paying more money. And you're also getting more of your money taken in taxes. So, I don't know. Some people just love living in certain places because of the culture. Like, I'm a New Yorker. Good. You pay higher taxes. New York City, NYPD is, whatever. do your thing. I guess if you want to, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love visiting. I would never want to live there.
Yeah, I would just rather visit.
I would never want to live there.
I mean, because California is a beautiful state.
Oh, it is.
New York is a beautiful state,
and the liberals are fucking ruining it.
I mean, before I don't know. New York used to be a fun place to go to.
Oh, it still is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love it, but to live there, absolutely not. That's why even going and visiting California, I feel like I'm in enemy territory.
Right.
I really do. I've had to go there a few times, and every time I step foot there, it's like, I do not belong. I do not like I don't like how it is here. I don't like the culture. I like Texas. And the reason I like Texas is because it's just everybody leaves everybody the fuck alone. Everybody's nice. Southern hospitality still exists. You know, you go into like a coffee shop, you go into a Waffle House. It doesn't matter. It can be like a fat old black lady behind the counter and be like, hey, sweetheart. And you don't get offended by shit like that. Mm-hmm. Because like, sweetheart, what, that's sexist? Places like California, they would do shit like that. Here in Texas, like, nobody gives a fuck. And it's great. Mm-hmm. You know, they call that sexism or whatever, but it's still alive, but it's more so of brotherly love. It's one of those things of kind of like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just a different culture. And by the way, that elderly fat black woman behind that counter that says, hey, sweat, you better believe I'm going to call her ma'am. Like, yes, ma'am. Because I know she's older than me. Doesn't matter the job. That's just the culture that is embraced.
Absolutely.
In most places around Texas. Like, your elders are always, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, shit. Like, it doesn't matter what job they do. If they're older, you know, it's weird. It's just weird. But in New York or California, places like that, good luck. Good luck. You want to buy some drugs?
Open your own fucking door.
Open your own fucking door. That's another thing that really blew me away. Like, I go to places like, I go to these left-leaning cities or states, and there's none of that. Like, bro, like, that's the thing I look at here in Texas. Like, a friend of mine that I follow on Instagram, she made a comment. We go to the same gym, and, you know, she posted in her stories, like, if you open the door for somebody and they don't say thank you, what do you do? Do you just go on your way, or do you yell behind them, you're welcome? That's what happens here in Texas. Like, if you open the door for somebody, doesn't matter if it's a gym, a store, it doesn't matter. You're going to open the door for a woman or a man, or you hold the door open after you leave. That's just the common things that I like that makes a state a good state or a city a good city. You have that type of just environment. But I'm the same way. You open the door for somebody, they don't say, like, hey, you're welcome. Shit.
Yeah.
You fucker.
I don't say that.
You don't?
I just let it go.
Fuck you prick. This guy. I'm in an Italian mood last night. We had Mary made Alfredo, so it's kind of like the whole time I'm doing. Funny story. We were out. This is good. This is good. We were in Walmart the other day, and we were buying some stuff, and I was doing the thing like, this girl, what the fuck are you doing? And I was over the top. You know, you could tell if you know me. And I'm laughing after, and there's this dude that Mary said after I walked away, this guy looks at her and goes, are you okay? And she was like, oh, no, he's retarded. Don't worry about it.
He's retarded.
He's just retarded. I was kind of like, oh, my God, if they only fucking knew. If they only knew. They just see me, and I look like this quintessential fucking Marine. And I'm doing this the whole fucking time. Who the fuck is this guy? You making this shit? You making this shit at home? This is why I fucking beat you. And shit like that. And the guy looks at her and is like, are you okay? And I'm like, fuck. That yeah. Good for him, though. I respect the fact that he did that. But it's like, damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is good to know that there's still people out there that be like, are you okay?
Are you okay? Yeah, I like that. I do like that.
Oh my God, do you want me to shoot him?
It's crazy. Yank said in the chat, he said on Twitch, said, I live in New York and held a door open for a lady, and she said, does it look like I need a man's help to open a door? I bet if it was a pickle jar, you would, you fucking bitch.
I know.
I bet if that, yeah, 100%.
Judging by the size of that ass, yeah, you're probably going to need some help walking, too.
You need some help walking, too, you fat bitch. Hey, Moto, thank you for the $2 donation on YouTube. All right. Let's continue. And Rite Aid says, like all retailers, we've seen a much higher level of brazen shoplifting and organized retail crime over the last year. And we are taking an active role in helping law enforcement pursue these offenders, as well as working with other retailers and local leaders to push for stronger legislation to deter these types of crimes. What are you talking about? We're sitting down with other retailers and talking about ways that we can curb this legislatively. You can. It's called, there are laws that say you cannot steal. These laws already exist. You are literally trying to create laws to put on top of already pre-established laws that basically say, hey, it's illegal to steal from a business. This is how stupid this country has become. This is why when Russia invades Ukraine and Biden wants to send troops, we're going to get our asses kicked. This is why America has gone so weak. We've become the fatted cow. We are so stupid because we've had it so good for so long. And you people out there that you want to complain and whine, oh, it's such a racist. I went into Target yesterday.
Are we the fat lady that doesn't say thank you when you open the door?
I think that's what America's become. There was a
Damn it.
place in Target, 2 places. One place in the music section saying empowering black voices. Like, fuck out of here with this bullshit. Like, you need it. Oh, good grief. Stop. And then there was a wine section. Black girl something wine. What if there was a white girl? There would be heads roll. I'm so sick of this racist bullshit. I'm sick of it. I'm so tired of it. And nobody wants to stand up and say anything because if you do, you're a racist. No, I'm tired of having this bullshit narrative crammed down my throat when it's not true. CNN's doing a thing now, hashtag driving while black. And then I posted on CNN, it's like hashtag listening to this bullshit while white. That's what it comes down. I'm tired of your bullshit. I'm tired of it. You're whining, your incessant bullshit that the BLM's push. This is why people are going to turn and you're creating more racism.
I don't know.
I really think the BLM is
creating more racism.
Oh, I do.
I don't know that other people are going to be like,
because people are going to judge them by and large.
Black people?
I think so, because they're not going to see it as, they're going to generalize, just like the BLM generalizes like a racist systemic system. They're generalizing it. I think ignorant people on the right are going to do the same thing. It's a result of all the black people doing that. It's not. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this, but most people don't think that far in depth. They just see it as like, fuck the black people in the BLM. It's like, it's really, if you look at it, the BLM is comprised mainly of rich white liberals. Like the founders are black because they have more white liberal support than anything.
I don't think, like, Joy Reid's clearly racist.
She's fucking racist.
All right, but not all people, black people, think or act like Joy Reid. Yeah. So it's just like all white people.
But that's where you get this racism
not all people are the same.
But racism is comprised of, I would say, intellectually stunted people.
What is racist is saying that you would pick a SCOTUS based clearly on
there's some polls
color.
Coming back right now that barely, like a lot of Democrats are going against Biden. Yeah, AOC doubles racist. Down on it. She wants to say it's all about identity. This is why Democrats, you continue electing these morons that are ruining this country for you because you go off of identity, which is comprised of their sexuality, their gender, and nothing to do with their experience or their merit or their work capabilities. You're all about identity, and that's why you have stupid-ass AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, these morons that are only making it worse for their districts. You continue electing these people. They're stupid. They use that minority victim card to get into office, and then they're not good at that job. Or if it's really that important to you, find someone that's actually good at that job and elect them. And if they just so happen to be a female that's black or whatever, that's wonderful. Great. But I am not by any means going to support somebody based upon the identity of what or who they are. That's stupid. It's like, hey, I need an electrician to fix my life. So I will identify as an electrician. Good enough. And then he gets, electrocuted because he was actually a plumber. Even a plumber probably has more experience in doing electrical work than.
Well, your good friend Tulsi Gabbard here really ripped into Biden as well.
Tulsi, she's I'm happy to see her doing that. I still don't understand why she's a Democrat. I'm like, come over to the other side. Come on, Tulsi.
I don't even know that she needs to come over to the other side.
Maybe she's just being independent.
Like being an independent.
Yeah, but. Like all retailers, we're seeing much higher levels of brazen shit. Why? Why don't you identify those factors? And instead of calling for more legislation, you ask yourself, why have we seen an increase? Well, it's probably because crime you've gone weak on. Democrats are notoriously big on going weak on crime. This is what's happening in California, places like New York. Rappaport's frustration with the incident at the store seems to echo concerns that other New Yorkers have about crime in the city. Mayor Eric Adams earlier this month admitted that he doesn't even feel safe riding on the subway any longer. What are you going to do? You gonna put an increased police presence on the subway? Or, here's an idea. What if you legalize firearms? And that dude that's like trying to freaking rape that woman gets his head blown off when she pulls out a gun and caps his ass. Jeez. And then you start seeing, better not do that. Couple people lying dead. Be great. It's great. It's great for freaking a message to criminals. Vlad the Impaler, he was right. You mount some heads on the spikes out there and people start learning. Well, I should say right in how he portrayed his message, not what he was doing. I should probably really clarify that.
Well, obviously, you know what I'm saying, Giuliani had it right.
Giuliani freaking nailed it.
Yeah. So, I mean.
But also not going full-on authoritarian as far as like the government's responsibility. Like, it's a society's responsibility to clean up crime by essentially aiding law enforcement, but also defending your own. Mm-hmm. So if somebody comes in there, you steal something, bro. That's a thing that we should be trying to push. Like, if I was ever to start like a campaign, in a city, and I was an elected official, I would basically start this thing of saying like, hey, to the average consumer, is that pack of cigarettes you're going to try and steal worth your life? Ask yourself that. Because if you do it and they catch you, I would empower that business owner to blow your head off. And then the liberals automatically counter that with, oh my God, so it's worth shooting somebody over a pack of cigarettes? Like, yeah, because that's my property. I own that. So realistically, I think the question boils down to of if it's an item and that item is of little worth, it's not worth wasting somebody's life out, well, then what is? Name me the price point of an item that is worth me defending myself by killing somebody else that is trying to steal. Is that even existence, or is it based upon merits of life? Like, if somebody does it to someone that's a living being, then I have a right to kill them? Like, what is that fiscal number? I want to know, liberals. Like, what? Or it's across the board. Don't steal what is not yours. And we've seen this work in societies throughout history. The law of Hammurabi was a great one. An eye for an eye. You steal my camel, I get one of yours. You injure one of my people, I'm going to injure one of yours. I mean, even like, look at the mafia. Or look at like organized crime across the country or the world. You do something to us, it's even The Godfather. They fuck with you, you hit them back 10 times harder. It's the same in the military. They're going to fuck with you, you shred them back 10 times harder, and you make them realize, don't ever do that again or I will fucking annihilate you. But I will leave you alone if you leave me alone. And that's the way it should be. It's kind of like, you bring a 22 into my store, I got a bazooka waiting for you. Are bazookas illegal? Are bazookas illegal? I think they're illegal. That idiot. But yeah, on day one, I took the subway system. I felt unsafe. I saw homeless everywhere. People were yelling on the trains. There was a feeling of disorder. So as we deal with the crime problem, we also have to deal with the fact that people feel unsafe, he said. Okay, people feel a certain way because, again, what are the reasons for this? Why do you have more homeless people? Daily rides over the last 2 weeks have hovered around 2.1 million, about 44% of the same time pre-pandemic, according to the data from the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, which falls under state control. Police statistics show major felonies in the subways have dropped over the last 2 years, but the numbers are difficult to compare with the ridership numbers having dropped as well. That's going to say it's like less people or less crime, less riders. I mean, that makes sense. The drop in ridership has also made the presence of homeless people on the trains more visible. Rappaport has blamed ex-mayor Bill de Blasio for what critics have called the city's soft on crime enforcement.
Like, this guy's all
Rappaport
over
needs
the
to
place.
shut the hell up.
Like, why is Rappaport? Why is he even in any conversation about?
I don't know.
Like, who's going to this guy and getting his opinion on this stuff?
Because know.
Clearly he's a douchebag.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. They're just like,
these are the people that we want to listen to. Yeah.
Where's Rappaport?
Exactly.
Remember,
hey, we got a global warming question. Let's get the shit talker from fucking Boss. But yeah, get him over here.
Let's get from Boss Baby. Was he a Boss Baby?
No, I'm sorry, not Boss Baby. Oh, jeez, I forget what it was.
I don't know.
All right. These real quick before I get into this. Justin Trudeau. Okay, the trucker issue that's going on in Canada right now. From what reports are saying from the GoFundMe and stuff like that, they're saying that right now there's enough funds. And now you take this with a grain of salt. They're saying there are enough funds and all the fiscal support that has been garnished from worldwide support for the truckers going and driving into, I think it's Ottawa in Canada, saying that they have enough funds to support those drivers protesting from 2 to 4 years to gridlock that city. So right now there's 2 articles. We're going to take some time on this here, but right now there's 2 articles. The first article is Lawrence Fox tests positive for COVID-19 days after wearing anti-vaccine t-shirt. I like how you spin this. It's not saying that I'm not going to get COVID. We all know we're going to get COVID. Now, this is from MSM.com. MSM.com also published Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister, tests positive for COVID-19. So let's boil this down to the meat and potatoes. You're trying to essentially make fun of Lawrence Fox because he wore an anti-vaccine t-shirt by saying like, oh, look what he gets for being anti-vaccine. And then you got Justin Trudeau, who talked about pushing and making this mandatory, who also came down with COVID. This is how hypocritical MSM and the rest of these other propaganda outlets are. You don't add in, hey, pro-vacciner Justin Trudeau pops positive for COVID-19. But you did go after the anti-vaxxer or anti-COVID vaccine, which is completely different. How interesting that is, ladies and gentlemen. This is why these news organizations are liars. They are liars. Again, I'm going to share these articles in the chat. You can go see them for yourselves. Both of them from MSM. You do with it as you see fit. Here's the first one. This is the anti-vaccine shirt one. That's the link there. And then the Justin Trudeau, and he just popped out for COVID too. Couldn't have happened to a more deserving piece of shit. There you go. There are the links. All right. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has tested positive for COVID-19. He announced Monday as his nation continues to face a surge in cases due to the Omicron variant, as well as rowdy protests in the capital over pandemic health restrictions. Now, people don't know this, but it's actually true. Justin Trudeau has fled the capital. Critics mock puppet Trudeau for fleeing capital during truckers' protests. They say it's a tyrant on the run. Is there a more gutless and cowardly display than a tyrant on the run? U.S. Rep. Chip Roy tweeted. Critics are slamming Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as a coward for reportedly fleeing his residence in the country's capital of Ottawa as a massive anti-vaccine mandate protests converged on the city. What a complete coward. He won't even face the citizens that he has discriminated against, Fox News contributor Lisa Booth tweeted. The Freedom Convoy of truckers left Vancouver for Ottawa on January 23rd to protest the federal government's vaccine mandates for cross-border truckers and is calling for an end to coronavirus restrictions. The convoy reached Ottawa on Saturday and was joined by thousands of other Canadian protesting the mandates. What they're trying to do is gridlock the city. They're going to disrupt the city, and essentially the wheels of commerce stop. Because your truckers are now on strike, shit isn't happening. And Trudeau basically tried saying this is a fringe minority of Canadians. It's not. This is a huge movement backed by a lot of
using
Canadians.
That word fringe.
Yeah.
Like, they're the fringe.
100%. They're the fringe in power. Look, you want it to end and they refuse, there's only one way. And you know that way. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
You rip them out of there by violence, and that's what happens. If they refuse to listen to the whims of the people, the will of the people that they're elected to represent, there's only one way. Or they bend the knee and they say, hey, this is what the people want. Let's lift the restrictions. They never should have enforced the restrictions to begin with. Never.
We do know that he's a master of disguise. He can
he is.
He can
He's
slip
all over the
into
place.
His Indian role.
Elizabeth on Twitch says, I heard there's a trucker convoy being planned for D.C. Oh, that would be so great.
Let's cross our fingers.
But again, it's not going to be effective because there are no federal mandates across the country. It's all state level. States are going to have to get, if your state is in lockdown, you need to go to your state's capital and do the same thing, not D.C.
It's true.
And D.C. is not going to do shit.
No,
now, if you wanted to take the restrictions off of D.C., good luck. I mean, that's not going to happen. All those liberals out, oh, God, no. God, no. I still see people here in Texas wearing masks in their car, and I'm just going to start taking pictures of them. It's like, you're an idiot. There needs to be a website dedicated to this, to where it's kind of like stupid people with masks in their car.com, and just make fun of these morons. That's how you write it. Make bullying great again. That's how you fix society. But the protests have been peaceful, with the most disturbances coming in form of honking horns, chanting, and dancing. And this is what I love. Right now, there's a viral picture of a dude out there using a Nazi flag at this protest, and no one knows who this guy belongs to. But what the MSM is trying to do, I've got to guess. I'm betting he's a Fed. He's probably an American Fed, too, as an American plane. Who knows? But what they're trying to do is take this picture of this kid wearing this Nazi flag, who's completely covered to head to toe. You don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But he's got a Nazi flag out there, and he's claiming to be on the side of the truckers. This is what these plants do. They go out there, and they try and basically get the press to get pictures of them, and that personifies your movement.
Yep.
Just kind of like the fringe January 6th protesters, how they now resemble, or they are now known for, or they've given the archetype of all protesters on January 6th. And that's not the case. There were a lot of people that did not get violent, that didn't even go into the Capitol.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was things about Alex Jones was actually there telling them to stop. Don't go in there. Stop. Don't go in. He was saying, like, don't do this.
Yeah.
They knew they were being baited.
Alex
Stupid
Jones
people
was
fell.
Was the voice of reason.
Yeah, go figure, right? Alex Jones, yeah. So it's just, yeah. Apparently there's an LA to New York convoys being planned. I'm getting on it. We'll see. But again, this is what they do. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's how you fix this. Everyone is entitled to free speech. That's just the way it goes. When they're going to do something like that, you protest them. Form a circle around them, and you isolate them. You take video, you take pictures. You get that out there and say, look, this is our movement. Surround that motherfucker. You're not touching him. He still has his right to free speech, but you get around and you crowd him. You crowd the fuck out of him and say, you're not welcome here. We don't want you. You need to leave. You need to go.
Shame.
Shame. Shame. Do that. And then people will say, this doesn't represent our movement. We don't want Nazis in this movement. It makes no, and the guy's probably not even a Nazi. He's just got a flag. He's out there just trying to discriminate or trying to get some media coverage to try and, again, discredit your movement.
That's what they do.
And so all these people out there, Twitter's running all over, the truckers support Nazism. That's not true. If they supported Nazism, to be on the side of these fucking vaccine mandates. Like these idiots out there in the press don't even understand that you're saying they support one thing when in fact they support the exact opposite. And the people whose side you're on are exactly the same people who you should be standing up against that are embracing of Nazi values.
Yeah, I think we could go back to the WikiLeaks emails and see like where Bob Kramer, Hillary Clinton's cohorts went out and they set up all these traps for the media. And then they have the media that goes out and promotes on it. So
this
they go
is what
out.
they do. Yeah. This is what they do. And people eat this shit up hook, line, and sinker. And, and that's the other thing is like, how many of these people are feds? Like on the January 6th, how much of this was federal involvement?
Seems like quite a few.
When the federal freaking director won't answer the questions to the Congress saying, I can't answer that, you're guilty as fuck.
You're guilty.
Fuck the FBI. Fuck the FBI.
Those guys we're paying, that's taxpayer funded.
We are paying for these pieces of shit. Like America is down. We are so far right now that we have to it's sad to see this. Trudeau's itinerary for the day usually outlines that he is in Ottawa if he's at home, but on Saturday it said National Capital Region. Trudeau and his family were moved to a secret location in the capital over alleged security risks. Sources told, I'm sure they did. I'm sure. The Prime Minister's media office did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment on the matter. Critics in both the U.S. and Canada lambasted and mocked the Prime Minister as gutless and cowardly for fleeing the protest instead of addressing their concerns over health freedom. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You are an elected official representing the people that voted for you. And when this protest comes, you run?
Coward.
What a coward.
Yellow belly.
You should be going out there and talking to them and negotiating with them and making them see reason according to you, or you bend the knee. I mean, it's really up to you. But the fact that this guy Trudeau is a coward. This guy is a coward.
Gutless turd.
Just a piece of shit human being.
Yeah.
And this is, Chip Roy says, is there a more gutless and cowardly display than a tyrant on the run? # deport Trudeau. We don't want him. Don't. We already took Bieber from you. Don't you give up. We don't want him.
I know. Don't what's that? The Prince of England that came here with Merkel.
Oh, Prince Harry or whatever?
Yeah.
That douchebag. We don't want him either.
They're here, right? They're in America, aren't they?
I think so, in California. Go figure. January 27th, Trudeau tweeted, last night, I learned that I have been exposed to COVID-19. My rapid test result was negative. I am following the Ottawa health rules and isolating for 5 days. I feel fine. I'll be working from home. Stay safe, everyone, and please get vaccinated.
You feel fine?
You feel fine?
You got COVID and you feel fine?
He said he was exposed to it. He tested negative, but he's still going to isolate. Like, wait, why?
Right.
Oh, because the symptoms can be 2 week dormant? Okay, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Like, Trudeau, I got news for you, man. You're not going to isolate yourself from this protest. It will be there for a very long time. You're not going to out-COVID your way out of this one, buddy. Nice try.
Weakling.
It's going to be, this is from Lawrence Fox, tweets out, it's going to be delightful to watch who blinks first in the cowardly Justin Trudeau versus his own people staring match. My money isn't on blackface. A great shift is coming, not just COVID, but the whole tyrannical woke region. People have had enough.
My money's not on blackface. That's it. Anytime I would show a picture of him, it would be him in blackface. Yeah. That's the picture I would use.
And, we're seeing, if you're watching Twitch, you can see the trucker convoy. Like, the streets are gridlocked. Like, we're watching this live on Twitch right now. Trucks everywhere. Good luck. Like, it's everywhere. There is no way to tow these guys out of there. Like, that city is gridlocked. Hell yeah. Wait for the people to stand up and speak out. Like, that's amazing. That's incredible. It's midnight in Ottawa, 20 degrees below zero. An Indigenous woman sings, a flag of resistance flies, and somewhere the coward Trudeau hides and rages. And you can see people out there protest. This is a lot of people for a fringe group. But you know what it does represent to me? These are truckers. These are blue-collar workers that are coming out there and saying, we're done with this.
Yeah.
The blue-collar worker is done with your bullshit. We want it ended now. So, honestly, if the rich elites don't want it, then you better figure a way to counter-protest. But you can't because you don't really control anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not at the bottom level of where if your workers turn on you, you're fucked. So, this is funny to me. They're doing it the right way. They're doing it the right way. Come out of hiding, puppet, and face the music from, Jordan P. Peterson is weighing in on this. Peterson. I sit here and I look at my Instagram and I wonder what the lobster would do, So these things are so far out there that you have to take into account. It's just ridiculous at this point. You have to get him out of office. Get him out of there.
Sounds a little bit like Kermit the Frog.
A little bit of Dr. Evil, some Kermit the Frog. That's Jordan B. Peterson in a nutshell there. The Prime Minister tweeted on Monday morning that he tested positive for COVID-19, blah, 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 blah. Trudeau condemned the convoy last week and said it is composed of a small fringe of minority of people who hold unacceptable views. Bro, you are really digging yourself into a hole. You are really digging yourself into a hole. Other critics, including Elon Musk, have mocked him for the comment following videos showing thousands of people protesting the mandates. It would appear that the so-called fringe minority is actually the government, Musk tweeted Sunday. That was in response to Aaron Jin, who said Canada isn't going to take more lockdowns and COVID restrictions, Ottawa today. Like, it's over, man. It is over. The fact is, they can't enforce this. When you have people standing up to this level, how are you going to enforce that cop-wise, except if you weaponize the cops like Australia's done, in which case, that's why you need guns.
Yep.
It's a war with the cops at that point. If the cops want to stand on the side of medical tyranny, then let the cops die for it. Sorry, Blue Line, you don't have my support on that. You do not have my support on that. That's the way it goes there. But, yeah. Now, remember what I talked about as far as MSM going more centrist. Well, now celebrities are going to do the same. And I'm actually interested to see this. But Sean Penn, devout leftist activist, Sean Penn says American men have become feminized and blames cowardly genes. What? Okay, let's see where this goes down the rabbit hole. Flag Day actor doubled down on comments he previously made about American culture. Sean Penn doubled down on comments he made about masculinity in American men during a recent interview in which he blamed cowardly genes for men putting on a skirt. The controversial comments came after the Flag Day actor and two-time Oscar winner spoke out about American culture in an interview with a newspaper in which he explained that he feels men in the country are being feminized. He says, I am in the club that believes that men in America culture have become wildly feminized, he said, in an interview with UK's iNews. He says, I don't think that being a brute or having insensitivity or disrespect for women has anything to do with masculinity or ever did. But I don't think that in order to be fair to women, we should become them. I 100% agree with him there. In an interview with The Independent, Penn was asked to clarify those remarks. In his response, the 61-year-old actor further stated that he believes that men in the U.S. are finding it either fashionable or empowering to adopt feminine traits. He said, I think that men have, in my view, become quite feminized, he stated. I have these very strong women in my life who do not take masculinity as a sign of oppression toward them. There are a lot of, I think, cowardly genes that lead to people surrendering their genes and putting on a skirt. The actor made his controversial comments during a sit-down interview alongside his daughter, Dylan Penn, 30, who stars in Flag Day, which Sean Penn directed. The writer of the article noted that she did not seem particularly on board with her dad's sentiments on masculinity in American men, explaining that she remained quiet during her responses and stared into space. Sean Penn has been very vocal in discussing modern culture in America. This past July, he appeared on an episode of the podcast Conan O'Brien's Needs a Friend, where the duo discusses cancel culture, with the director and actor calling it a mere concept ludicrous. Hasn't he participated in this stuff before, though?
Yeah, that's why, like, these celebrities,
they're shifting so fast.
Their opinions mean absolutely nothing.
They're shifting so fast because now they realize that the monster they have helped create is eating them alive.
When I would bring up Sean Penn, I'd be like, the actor of I Am Sam.
Yeah, the guy who plays a retarded character, yeah.
I think that's more fitting to his character.
That's kind of funny to me.
Okay.
These actors are going to go more centrist with their viewpoints because, again, like I said, they realize cancel culture can come after them in a moment's notice. This is the thing that I thought about today. You know, it's kind of like everyone that has supported the narrative, the COVID narrative for so long now, as far as being pro-lockdowns, pro-vaccine, pro-everything, and also standing for the enforcement of it on people to even work, go to the grocery store. Eventually, ladies and gentlemen, we will see a day, whether it be this year or next year, but it is coming and it's soon, where this all goes away. Europe's already doing it, saying COVID-19 is the same as the flu. Learn to live with it. Mm-hmm. America will do the same. And this is a question I pose to you, the listener and the viewer. Those that stood against American values that capture liberty, freedom, things like that, those that were against it, should they ever be welcomed back into society? And I don't think they should. They should be shunned.
You mean like
scorned.
The Sean Penns and
every single one of these people that tweeted, that posted, that were for the enforcement of vaccines, even when the science is changing, they still double down on it. I think they should be bullied, shamed, and harassed for the rest of their lives. I really do, because here's the thing.
I think
they were perfectly fine. And I know that's a very strong statement to say, but at the same token, they were perfectly fine seeing you jobless, unable to provide for your children, your family. They didn't give two shits about you. They cared more about their own personal health. That's all they cared about. But they were perfectly fine with the government coming in and saying you shouldn't be allowed to work and therefore feed your family. Therefore, bend the knee and take the jab.
Yeah, I didn't celebrate their opinions before or after. I mean, if they want to get on the side of right, then great, get in line. That's fine. But your opinions don't mean anything to me. It's how you live your life and how I live my life.
I think for the rest of their lives, like that's one of those things like in a community, if a person comes out there and they are pro-vaccine mandates and they were pro-shutting businesses down, once this ends and they realize they were wrong, everybody should say, don't ever come into my store. Don't you ever talk to me. You're anti-American. And the only thing that I think is keeping them from, in my opinion, being deported is the fact they have the First Amendment and the right to free speech. Outside of that, they should never be welcomed into community. They should never be welcomed into society. I would not, I'll be honest with you, if they supported it and stuff like that, and I owned like a grocery store, don't come to me. Don't shop here. You're not welcome here. Because you would have seen me go out of business had I said, I don't want the vaccine.
Yeah.
You would have been fine seeing everything I worked for shut down and crumbled at the hands of the government to protect your safety, that you were so willing to cast aside that freedom. I don't think they should be welcomed back into society. I think they should be shunned and scorned at every turn. Every turn. Hold them accountable for their viewpoint that was contradictory towards freedom and liberty. They should. And I'm not saying violence or anything, but I'm saying I wouldn't allow them to shop. I wouldn't.
I'm just saying that their opinions didn't mean anything to me before. They don't mean anything to me now. So
I agree with that.
If they're saying like, I was on the wrong side of history.
But the point being though is there has to be a penalty. There has to be something.
Is there a penalty though for having a wrong opinion or a shitty opinion?
I think when that opinion delves into the realm of you being, let me put it this way: do you think? And I know this is an incredibly out there comparison, but it eventually could have led to this if America hadn't been armed. But do you think those that supported Nazism in Germany should have been held accountable for those that supported the Third Reich?
Should they have been? Is that the same thing that we're doing right now?
It could have. It could have. But what I'm saying, though, is, say, for example, those civilians knew that, let's say before the deportation of Jews, let's say it was still under the realm to where the government hadn't gone that point yet. They were still saying that if you were a Jew, you have to identify your business as Jewish, and they were costing them business. Do you think those that supported that type of mentality should be held accountable after it's over?
I think those are two different things.
Well, the point still being, though, is if you don't enforce vaccine mandates, you don't force people to wear a mask, your business is at risk.
I mean, because I don't know if Sean Penn endorsed or what he did.
I'm not talking about him per se. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, in general. So like some of these celebrities who are like, just get jabbed or avoid this business or blah, blah, blah. Like their opinions don't mean anything to me. Mm-hmm. So if they have some sort of influence on somebody else who shared their opinion and is influenced by what they say, and now they're saying, maybe masks don't work, or maybe you don't need to get the vaccine, or maybe you don't need to, and somebody else is going to listen to their opinion because of that, then, what's the lesser of two evils? Like this person that's saying that they were wrong in the past, and now they're using their platform to inform other people of why they were wrong. I'm not saying that's happening, but I'm saying I'm not going to let it impact the way I live my life or how we do business.
No, I get that part, but I'm saying in general, though, like if we lived in a small enough neighborhood, and I knew of certain parties in that said neighborhood that were pro-vaccine mandates and pro out there like trying to get people shut down and things like that, I would go after them. Like I would basically say is like, hey, these are the people that stood for wrong. These are the people that stood for the stripping away of your freedom. They did not embody American values. They put their safety first.
Yeah.
I'd be all for that. I'd support that because then that serves as a lesson that people are going to look back on and learn and say, wait a minute, it's like I better be on the right side of this because if I don't, there are penalties to the stance I take, or I don't take a stance. And
who is the chick who's, I don't know, it was her brother or something. She's from Trinidad, the rapper, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
So she came out.
Yep, they went after her.
Right. So I think you do have some of these celebrities out there that will go out and give an opinion. Like she didn't, like her opinion wasn't one way or another. She was just like, hey, pray about your decision.
Yeah, be careful, do some research. Yeah, 100%.
So, but they came after her. So they even go after their own leftist kind. So
but I think the way to prevent this from happening in the future, though, is essentially once this is all over, you go after them.
I think it's just something they really get off on is going after people and having that power and feeling
quite honestly,
being able to like go out and crush somebody's career. And
I think Joe Biden, though, is the point where he has committed impeachable offenses to where he's gone against the Constitution and knowingly done so.
This guy's just a complete disaster.
I think tarring, feathering is in order, 100%. My God, we did it for a 3% tax increase on tea. Fucking tea.
On tea, yeah.
On tea.
It's like,
and fucking Alec killed a guy.
Alec killed a guy.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I just think it's one of those things that it's like there should be revenge on these people. You should suffer consequences. You should be alienated.
I'm going to focus my
Go over there and you start your own community of socialists and get the fuck out of here with your bullshit. Like the moment when it came time for you to stand up for America, and that includes the cops. Cops that supported these vaccine mandates and closed these businesses down should be stripped of their fucking badges.
Yeah, I think that's a different type of a conversation too, because when you're in that position of power to be able to arrest somebody or to shut somebody's business down.
And you did it knowing.
All right, well then that's a different topic of.
But they get that from the support that goes towards the politicians that enforce these mandates. Yeah. Therefore, the people that support it are just as guilty, if not complicit, in that.
Or are they just sheep?
Oh, they're all sheep.
Like mindless sheep who
There's a lot of people
are taking what they're hearing. Like,
but even sheep should pay for when they fuck up.
Like what they're hearing is gospel. What they're getting from these people. Like Joe Biden's not going to lie to me. You know, he's been in government for 50 years. He's not. Elizabeth Warren, she's not going to lie. Nancy Pelosi, she's going to shoot us straight. Yeah. So I mean, they're just
and the same applies to
willing idiots.
People, yeah. I saw this one freaking dude who was. I tried to find his tweet the other day. He's with Turning Point. He has an agency. He's a diehard Republican, and it's funny because he basically talked about like. A lot of these boomer freaking GOP people don't care about, but we influencers do. Listen to us when we tell you who's good for Congress. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I am just in awe that there would be an influencer out there that wants to position himself as if he is the mouthpiece. Yeah. Like, come unto me, all thee that question whether or not these elected officials, like, how much money are you getting paid, bro? How much money are you making? I'm interested in hearing that. And this is what, like, aggravates me about these influencers. I think they're so smart. It's like, listen to me when I make a recommendation because I know these people personally. Yeah. Well, wouldn't that mean that you're probably complicit or you're like, no, I'm going to make my own? Like, for me, it's kind of like, you know, when people say, like, who do you endorse? I'm saying this is who I'm voting for and this is why. Yeah. But I'm not telling you, the listener, saying, you know, hey, believe me because I know better for you. I'm just saying this is why you and I are voting for Alan West in the gubernatorial run against
Abbott.
I'm not going to sit there, and I'm never going to put myself in a position as a podcaster or a journalist or whatever and say, listen to me, I know best. Mm-hmm. Fuck no. I'm going to say, this is who I'm voting for, and this is why. If you choose to vote differently, then that is on you. I respect your choice. Yeah. But I would never say, hey, listen to me, guys. I know what's best for you. That's very ignorant of me to say. Yeah. Because realistically, here's why. Alan West could get elected and then completely do a 180. Mm-hmm. And say, and you know, we'd be like, fuck.
He could.
I don't know. I don't think he would. But he might make.
I hope he does. Yeah, I mean, who knows with a politician?
But that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like these influencers, man, you better watch them. These GOP grifters, they are everywhere. Mm-hmm. These Turning Point types, I'm telling you, you better watch yourself with them. These guys, a lot of it is revolving around money. A lot of it is revolving around money. So watch yourselves. If an influencer on Twitter or Instagram ever tells you to listen to them because they know best, that's the same role the government takes. Yeah. Listen to me. I know what's best for you. I would tell them to shut the fuck up.
The more important thing would be to say, make sure you research whoever you're voting for. Do your own
research.
You know, like for Van Taylor.
Yeah.
Like went back, looked at his voting record. I voted for Van Taylor. Yeah. Probably not going to vote for him again because he didn't exactly do what he said he was going to do. Yeah. All right, and he's been in government now for
he's already been in one term. Isn't he?
He's been in for a while.
There's somebody actually running against him now. I should run against Van Taylor. He's actually our district. I should have totally run against him. I'd lose horribly, but whatever.
I mean,
would you elect a politician that says fuck a lot? Then I'm your guy. Hey, Pelosi, fuck you old cunt. That's what we're doing here today.
Eyebrows.
How fucking high are they gonna get? They got to touch your fucking hairline. Jesus Christ, you like the Crypt Keeper over here with Botox. What the fuck is this?
A Delta 9 will get you higher than Nancy's eyebrows.
Christ. Oh, in the news, Ian Smith Fitness on Instagram, the one who owns the New Jersey gym, he came out the podcast. Well, he's now running for Congress.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
He vocalized he made aware that he is running for Congress. It's out there now. Fox News picked it up. Now I'm gonna, and it's none of my business. I'm not gonna tell Ian anything, but now I'm gonna watch how many of the Turning Point crowd try and get on him and jump on his bus and try and milk him for everything he is. And he's probably gonna do it. It'd be smart of him to do it. Join that Turning Point group. To get the clout and the votes. But, dude, I'm telling you, Turning Point has become the GOP establishment. You better be careful. I've called this. There's going to be some stuff surfacing in the future that I've got some backdoor eyes on. I'm telling you, I am warning you, you better be careful. When money is involved, liberty goes out the window, and it's all about loyalty based upon the almighty dollar. And that's why we do our own thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't get involved. I don't get involved with any of these organizations because I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
You know, Trump
when everything
came out and
these influencers saying it's shameful to see all these people that made their following on Trump and then they abandoned him. Well, maybe it's because Trump went the wrong direction.
But
these same influencers,
he went in the wrong direction. Like he came out and he endorsed Abbott.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to vote for Alan West.
I'm still going West.
Because I didn't really care for the way that Abbott handled this whole pandemic.
Well, now there are articles surfacing that Democrats and Republicans are calling for investigations into Operation Lone Star, which is the troops, the Texas National Guard, that have been mobilized and put down at the southern border. Now Democrats are getting involved as well, saying, and Republicans as well, saying, we want an investigation. There's something going on. And they're listing the exact same things and complaints that I had listed from the soldiers I had spoken to in various different units. Tony Cowden for Congress, he went down there to the border. He interviewed a bunch of people. It's on his Instagram. You can see it there. Mm-hmm. There's some issues. There are some problems. Like Greg Abbott played the optics. And right now it's kind of like, here's another thing. DeSantis, there's a thing I saw in our Telegram chat that there were over 70 or over 100 male illegal immigrants from Mexico, all between the ages 17 to 30. There were no family. It was all males lined up, given credit cards for $1,500 and released.
Yeah.
Why is that happening in DeSantis' city? Or
what
state?
The hell is going on?
That's exactly. Politicians are telling us one thing, something else is happening behind closed doors.
To me, what it looks like is that they're trying to put faces behind these votes.
Yep.
So if you have a bunch of illegal votes and you need somebody to put a face behind it, boom, here's a social security number. Mm-hmm. Remember where you got this check.
There you go. At this point, trust no one.
Yeah.
Trust no one. So, again, I'll be sharing more of this as I get more information. But I'm telling you, there are a lot of GOP Turning Point USA grifters. Be careful. And you watch. Remember, a lot of these people are going to start to see Turning Point start to sink a little bit once this stuff starts coming out, and these grifters are going to break off and do their own things. And I'm just saying, be very, very careful. If they're a Trump loyalist and they push Trump even when Trump was wrong and they still took a side, you know where they stand. Oh, you got to love this. This is in the news here. Pope Francis. Is it a pope? He says, taxation is an important tool for wealth redistribution. The Catholic Church is now pushing for socialism.
Look at my little Pope hat.
The Pope, the leader of the Catholic Church, is now pushing for wealth redistribution through government entities that are clearly already dealing with corruption. You got to love this. This guy is the devil. This guy is not from God. Rome. Pope Francis met with a delegation from Italy's Internal Revenue Service Monday, praising them for their work and holding up taxation as a necessary tool for redistribution. Modern tax dollars are often looked upon with suspicion, just as they were in the times of Jesus, the pontiff said, but they provide an essential service to the common good by redistributing the wealth. To who exactly?
To the church.
To the church.
We got to make sure we take care of our cardinals.
A certain culture of suspicion can unfortunately extend to those who enforce the laws, Francis said. Yet this is a fundamental task because legality protects everyone and is a guarantee of equality. Laws make it possible to maintain a principle of fairness where the logic of interests generates inequalities, he added. Legality in the fiscal area is a way to balance social relations, removing forces from corruption, injustice, and inequality. You are off your fucking rocker. You are off your rocker. Roger S. says, if Turning Point USA breaks up, they'll poison the well and make finding honest political commentators on YouTube much harder. Really? What are we doing here?
Huh?
Case in point, right here. Me and this guy right here. We never join ranks with them. We never would.
No.
Because I saw that shit coming from a mile of fucking way.
Won't do it.
When Kirk and Owens latched on to Kanye, I was like, I'm never getting involved in that. That's identity politics. I'm not touching that. We exist. We're just not mainstream because we're not going to play the fucking game. That's why a lot of these people, a lot of these commentators, they're not mainstream. We'll never, and I know we joke, but we will never be on Fox. We don't toe the line to the GOP and the right-leaning MSM. It'll never happen. And we certainly aren't going to do it for the left. But you can't sit there and say, like, if it gets just broken up, like, it'll never be broken up. But I think in the coming years, you're going to see a lot of corruption within that organization. When you latch on so hard to Trump, there's reason for that. I'm telling you. Like, you look at us right here. That's what we say. We'll never latch with them. We will never join ranks with them. Not unless there's some major changes, which I don't think there will be. Anytime an organization grows so big like that, it's too big. It's too big. I can't agree with that. It's just how I am. Back to the Pope. He says, a certain culture of suspicion can unfortunately extend to those who enforce the laws. Francis said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Laws make it possible to maintain a principle of fairness where the logic of interest generates inequalities. He added, really? Is that the way it works when, like, government actually comes in there and says, oh, we're going to increase pay for Congress, we're going to do this? Then come on. Come on. Really? It's the government entities that are ruining it. They're increasing taxation. It's the subsidy programs they use, millions upon millions of tax dollars to invest in that fail. Really? The Pope is so off the wall on this one. But again, people are going to buy this hook, line, and sinker because it's the Pope. Nobody is going to condemn the Pope on this. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but when you look at people, it's like, question what it is that your elected officials are saying. But this requires some education and cultural change, the Pope continued. As is often said, people often see the tax system as reaching its hands into their pockets. It is. But I'm very interested in seeing, how rich is the Pope? Okay. Put your money where your mouth is, big guy. Let's look this up real quick. How rich is the Pope? 2 million. Pope Francis is the 266th current Pope and sovereign of the Vatican City State, who has a net worth of 2 million. He's amassed his current wealth as both a priest and a Pope. Pope Francis has served the Catholic Church since 1969. Do you not find it questionable that if you are serving a community, if you are serving the people as a priest, and you're worth $2 million, do you not see anything wrong with that? How much was Jesus worth? How much is Joel Osteen worth?
Ooh.
How much are these so-called leaders of flocks, how much are they worth? Isn't that kind of interesting to you? That the same guy that is rich is for the redistribution of wealth. How much does this guy pay?
How much of his wealth has he redistributed? None? 0%?
Well, I'm sure they do stuff in okay. Recent reevaluations of Vatican assets showed the Vatican has approximately $1 billion in total assets. For comparison, Harvard University's endowment is over $30 billion. So relatively speaking, the Catholic Church is not really wealthy, and no one blames museums for maintaining their artwork and structures. What? What is it? Oh, this is from the Catholic.com. Never mind. This is from Catholic.com. Of course, never mind. I should never have
everything is a fine over here.
We're not even that rich. You have $1 billion in assets. Are you fucking kidding me?
That we can't redistribute that.
Get out of here. Get out of here. It's ridiculous. You're worth that much money and you're calling for the redistribution of wealth. Put your money where your mouth is, big guy.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Put your money where your mouth is. There is no reason you should have gold-plated anything in your church. Look, I'll be the one to say it, Catholics. I'm sorry. I disagree with it. If you walk into a church and they got gold-plated shit, that money could be better else. What did Christ say? What did Jesus Christ say? Really? What did he say to Moses when they made that golden calf? That was wrong. The rich young ruler? That was wrong. Yeah, we don't see this. Nobody's preaching this. Because again, when you start making money, it's like, well, I don't really, I kind of like living this life. A pastor I grew up with got pretty rich.
Seen it.
He got pretty rich. Driving the new Cadillac every season, tailored suits, shirts. Now, I'm not saying that you can't live comfortably, but there needs to be some level and modicum of common sense towards, okay, maybe this should be given back to those in my flock. And it kind of serves as a point that why socialism doesn't work. Because essentially, the redistribution of the wealth went through one funnel, and the head of it could have easily given it back to the flock that he identified as in need, but he didn't. The human level of greed and corruption still comes into play. Now, is it corruptibility? Not really. You voluntarily gave that money, that 10% tithes and offerings, which, again, you could also look at as taxes. You pay a 10% tax, religious tax, to go to that church. They take that money. It's like, well, hey, we're going to take care of you as well. But then the pastor's driving a really expensive Cadillac, driving or wearing tailored suits. Again, this does not work. It never works. You look at the baseline model of any type of system where wealth goes to one funnel, one person in charge, and it never gets distributed evenly and fairly.
So
it
you
never
think
does.
the church should be taxed?
That is such damn you. Oh, my God. That is such a rabbit hole. Because here's the point.
It kind of is because, I mean.
I kind of see it as
if you have a congregation and you got all these people who are coming in, donating money.
Yeah. Voluntarily. Let me get back to you on that because here's the point. Like, I'm not one of those guys like, well, if
circle back around.
Yeah, it's not like if the IRS comes and audits me for whatever reason they won't, or if they do, we've done everything up and up. I'm not going to turn around and blow the whistle on a neighbor business that probably isn't doing it the right way. It's one of those like, hey, if you can fuck over the IRS, good for you. Do it. 100%. I believe it. I'm not going to do it. But if somebody knows a way and they're doing it, I'm not going to blow the whistle on you. Fuck the government. I want to keep more of my own money.
I mean, that's one thing that you really have to be. It has to be in order. Everything, like all your books has to be in order. You have to make sure you have a great account.
Here's the thing. I'm going to make a post. I'm going to make a post on Instagram about that. Should the church be taxed? And I want to get your opinions on this. I'll post this on the All American Savage Show podcast, the Instagram there. You can check it out. It's All American Savage Show.
That's right. Jesus did start flipping tables when he saw the greed. All American Savage podcast on Instagram. You can see it there. Go follow. I'm going to post a question later on today about that. Should the church be taxed? Why or why not? And give your opinion respectfully, because I'm interested in hearing what other people have to say, educated opinions on this to see. I was thinking it has to be maybe up to a certain amount. I don't know. I want to see what the people have to say. Like mega churches, if you just have like a small mom and pop church where it's just, let's say their annual earnings are like around, I don't know, 500,000. Well, at the same token, like you're literally paying for somebody's labor. You're paying for a pastor to essentially preach. Now, realistically speaking, I understand because I don't think it should be. Because you have to pay rent or your lease, you have to pay for electric, you have to pay for water. For the church itself, right. So I mean, there's costs. Yeah, but those costs could also be put into like, hey, you have tithes and offerings, then you have something else. I forget what it was called that actually paid for the church's upkeep. So it was two separate things there. I forget it was tithes and offerings. It was tithes and offerings. I forget what it was. I don't know if other churches do the same, but there was one that went towards the preacher and one went to the upkeep of the church. And I forget what it was. That's a very good question, though. It's a very good question. I think if you were going to start taxing a church, then you would have to. It would have to be a dollar amount, a set dollar amount. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, you really have to get into the. So should people be charged to attend church? Yeah, I would say no on that because again, the church should be free to go to. But if you're taking in $50 million a year, $100 million a year, but you are also able to essentially write those off as charitable donations, though. Yeah, on your taxes. I mean, it's a good point though. That's a really good point. Should churches be taxed? I want to hit Austin Peterson up on that one because Austin Peterson, I like where a lot of his viewpoints come from. So I'll ask him, should churches be taxed? Why or not? I'm pretty sure he would say no because he's against taxation in general. Yeah, I am too. I mean, Morbid Alice says they already are basically. I don't know. I've never dealt with church taxes, but anyway, I'll put that question up later on All American Savage podcast on Instagram. You can answer it there. But this is what the Pope is saying, be willing to pay more taxes. I just love this. Your work appears thankless in the eyes of a society that puts private property at the center as an absolute and fails to subordinate it to the style of communion and sharing for the good of all. This guy is calling for outright socialism. Pope Francis, like, how many people are you sharing that Vatican bed with, big guy? He all of you. Well I love this. This guy is such a hypocrite. He just might be the Antichrist. I could see it. I could see it. You got to love this. Your work appears thankless in the eyes of a society that puts private property at the center as an absolute and fails to subordinate it to the style of the communion and sharing for the good of all. Wait, what are you talking to me? What are you talking about? Like, private property? Like government-owned private property? That I could understand. But you're talking about like my private property? I don't think I agree with that at all. In fact, I'd be willing to go to war over that. Like, you really think the government should have, like, no, get the fuck, like communion bathhouse, get the fuck out of here. Communion property. Get out. Yeah, communion. Like, I'm thinking back in like the Roman times where we had community-funded stuff. It's like it never worked out. It was always shit. So, I don't know. I think the Pope is so far off and is calling for freaking outright socialism. Get the hell out of here. Yeah. Oh my God. Agreed. You'll get no argument on this side, my friend. All right, and the final thing we want to talk about is Joe Rogan responds to growing protest over COVID misinformation on Spotify. He did about a 9-minute thing on his Instagram.
If you haven't seen that, he basically talked about this. He discussed this and basically said, some people they're gonna, if Joe Rogan makes any concession, they're gonna go after Joe Rogan. Like people, you turned a blind eye. Anthony. Joe Rogan agreed with Spotify putting a notification on his things of saying, hey, be warned, yada yada. And I agree with that.
Be warned. This guy has his own opinion.
He's got his own opinion. But essentially, Rogan handled it very smartly because he talked about Neil Young and these other boomers that are like 1 foot in the grave, one on a banana peel, saying, look, if you disagree with me, I invite you to come on my podcast and say why. And they won't take him up on this. And Joe Rogan is smart in how he's doing this. He's basically saying, if you don't agree with me, come tell me why. And therefore, participate in the very same podcast that these stars probably don't listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Because he even talked about the 2 doctors he had on. And he said, these are the certifications. Both of them are highly published. He basically said, all this discredit that's coming from MSM, like these are these doctors. You can look this up. These are the certifications. One of them has like 9 patents on some vaccine. I forget what it is.
Yeah, that Dr. Monroe.
Yeah. He says, these are their accreditations. The MSM is lying to you.
Yeah.
And you can go look this up. So when it comes to medical misinformation, he also said, I've had people that disagree with me on COVID, CNN experts and all this other shit. But the fact is, he does both sides. Rogan has his own opinion, but he is interviewing people of opposing sides, which is exactly what you need, what you want.
Yeah.
You got to love that. You've got to love that.
Because who's the CNN doctor that he had brought on? Sanjay Gupta. Yeah. Is that his name?
We also accused CNN of lying to him, and the guy was like, well, I don't know what they're doing. So, yeah,
and he started like tap dancing all over the place, trying to get out of the question.
100%.
I mean, that was a good one.
But Rogan did this. The Rock commented on it. The Rock's so flip-floppy, wishy-washy. This guy's going to make a run for something. Yeah, he talks about, like, this is what it is right here. And I was like, you voted for Biden, dude. Like, you voted for Biden.
That dude, he
is so wishy-washy.
I just can't.
The Rock is a fence sitter. Here's the
deal
with
The
Rock.
Fence sitter.
He picked a side, but it's the wrong side. Now he's going to try and come back over.
He's a deep throater.
He is.
What he is.
Let's say here's the deal. Celebrities like The Rock, shut up. Stop getting involved in politics. Make your shitty movies and shut up.
Like his $7, like that whole thing is such bullshit because he was playing football in college.
Yeah.
When he gives his little spiel about, I had $7 in my pocket. I was in college.
Yeah.
Like most college students are poor.
Yeah.
When you're in college, you got a job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make ends meet.
Yeah. 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah. And this guy, he had a scholarship, a football scholarship.
Oh.
And his dad was like some professional wrestler.
True.
So like, where was this hard time that he had? That's what he's so full of shit. He's an actor,
I think every single one of these people that are making these
$7 productions.
It's all about
such
money.
A joke.
It's all about money.
After I saw that and his little film that he did on HBO Ballers.
Yeah. I never watched it.
There's a scene of him reading Elizabeth Warren's book out on the. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's such an idiot.
These people that support these everybody's calling him the Pebble now. These people that support these policies don't know economics. They certainly don't. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. These high celebrities, you think they run these businesses? They don't. They hire people to do it for them.
Yeah.
They don't know the intricacies of business per se. They hire experts to make them more money and to run these companies. They don't know shit about it.
No.
So when they embrace these politicians with their ideals like Elizabeth Warren and all the rest of them, they don't get the nitty-gritty details fiscally of what's going to hurt or better them. Mm-hmm. They just go with it. Oh, it sounds good. It makes me feel good. The majority of people in America we think are on their side. I'm going to join with them and call for whatever the case may be, like socialistic programs. Like, you do realize it's going to hurt you. You're going to pay way more in taxes. You got people like Bernie Sanders that want to tax you harder, and you're cool with that? Like, really? You're cool with paying more in taxes, which would not allow you to create more jobs, employ more people, let them keep more of their money, but instead you want to trust this politician to do what's right with your money. Are you serious? You want this government entity to take more of your money and equally distribute according to them as far as who they think it belongs, who earns it the most. Like, really?
Mm-hmm. Section
8 housing? Like, bro, we talked about this a while back. Like, the house I used to live in Plano, Texas. I bought that house. It was like $260,000. It was a $260,000 house, 2-bedroom or 2-story, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, nice house.
Yeah,
nice house. And across the way, there were 4 houses that were Section 8, all of them upwards of $300,000. Why the fuck is Section 8 housing in such expensive houses? Why? By the way, taxpayer funded.
Oh, wonderful.
Taxpayer funded.
Yeah, nice.
And do you want to know what the ethnicities of those people were? Every single one of them, all four, minority. You take that as you want. But if we talk about equality, there needs to be actual equality. There needs to be actual equality across the board. Why? And oh, by the way, the people that lived in these houses were completely capable of working because I met them.
Yeah.
Across the street from me, I had a dude from Iraq. He was Kurdish. We actually became really good friends because I was over there in the war around the same time as him. He talked about the stuff that he went through as a business owner. And he came to America, started his own security company. He's not in Section 8. He came from fucking Iraq. He came from fucking Iraq to start a business and live next door to me in an equally expensive house. But the people over there in the Section 8 lived in even nicer houses and didn't pay.
And that's
all minorities. But this guy is like, even he was like, this makes no sense to me. He's like, why am I paying so much in taxes when they are over there? Because we had like little neighborhood barbecues and get-togethers and shit. So we met these people. It's like, why aren't you working? Well, I have like 7 kids. Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. You were a slut. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You probably shouldn't have let 7 different dudes or one dude nutting you 7 times. If you can't afford to have kids, don't have kids. And if you can't, I'm sorry, but either you give that little fucker up for adoption or you better figure some else way, like start an OnlyFans. I don't know.
That's why
it's not my responsibility to pay for your little fucking crumb snatchers that you shouldn't have been having if you couldn't afford them. It's not my problem.
I'm almost in favor of doing a government-funded vasectomies or tying your tubes.
At the same token, though, I understand that's a fix, but at the same token, you're still providing government as playing the role of babysitter.
I'd rather do that than have my taxpayer money funding abortion.
Okay, that I could agree with.
So
if we were to take
right
the money,
now,
that I could agree with. Like, why not do government-funded vasectomy? I could see that.
So,
if we're going to
say, if we're doing Section 8 housing, and we're doing all these other government programs, if you could, figure out some way to, plug the hole there.
I could agree with that. If we're going to divert money for things such as that or these other stupid subsidy programs, let's do one to where you can go and have a safe procedure done to where if you don't want to have kids, here's a vasectomy, here's that. Only if we divert funds that are already being paid. I don't want, it's just
like don't add to. I think
I agree.
If I was in government, if I had the power, I would cut so many government programs.
But it should never be forced.
Bare bone government.
I can see that
until our deficit starts going down. Like, you know what, guys? Sorry, we can't do it.
Yeah, these
douchebags who you kept voting for ruined it for everybody.
But at the same token, though, it's $5 to go out and get a pack of condoms.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't like wearing condoms either, but still, I got it. Or economically, we have to starve people that essentially are taking advantage of the system, saying like, it doesn't matter if you have 8 kids, we're not paying for it, and you're not getting any more money, so you better figure something else out. And then once a few families are going through these really hardships, other people are going to start realizing like, wait, they're not getting any more help from the government. I better not. I better start making my man wear one, or I better freaking. Whatever the case may be, get aboard. Get birth control.
That's what I think.
One of those things is kind of like, I get that.
Nonprofits, would step up in place of the government and people who would actually really care about the cause and do a much better job than the government does.
Oh, yeah.
They could take on that role.
But I still think the fact that these families where the men and women there were fully capable of working are in Section 8 housing, that is upwards of $300,000 house.
I think you're just going to have people.
I'm sorry, if you're on the government dime, you're living in the shit. You're living in a shithole until you figure. And the other thing is, I was in an apartment complex in downtown Dallas. We were paying roughly $2,000 for a 2-bedroom in downtown Dallas. $2,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment. I was like, fuck this. We can buy a house and pay less. So anyway, there was this woman there because I talked to the apartment manager. She knew who I was. She was a really nice woman. We agreed politically, and she's like, let me tell you something. And she said, please don't ever quote my name. But she was like, let me tell you something. There are a lot of people in this apartment housing complex that we offer Section 8 to. And here's the deal. What it is that if you come in, the government's going to pay a certain percent of your rent. You're responsible for a small percentage. Or no, it was all of it. I'm sorry. But they said that this one woman went out and got a job, and which was great. And the woman was bragging to her about it. It's like, I'm working. She goes, oh, well, that's good. Well, then we're going to have to increase your rent. She's like, wait, what? She goes, well, yeah. It's like, you're not paying the full rent. Government subsidy is paying this much, and that's all we're allowed to charge you because we're a Section 8 thing. She goes, but now we're going to have to raise your rent because you can pay extra rent. She goes, oh, and she quit her job. She quit her job because she was going to have to pay more. It's like, well, yes, if you want access to the living conditions everyone else is paying one rate for, you're going to have to pay the same rate. What? Oh, well, I quit. This is why socialism never works.
Yeah.
This is exactly why socialism never works. The government gets involved, and then people get addicted to that lack of having to work. That's what's wrong with this at the root core. It's corruptibility and laziness that's reasons why socialism does not work. Yeah. It never will.
I'm curious as to how many people in government right now have Section 8 rental properties.
That'd be interesting. I don't know.
I'd like to know that information.
You know, here's the thing. Like, I would totally do that because that's a guaranteed paycheck as a landlord.
Right. So,
but at the same token,
if you're in government and you have all this insider information, you're like, hey, let me just go out and buy this apartment building. It's going to be completely Section 8.
Yep.
And then the government's going to buy, the rent's going to be $2,000 a unit.
I just think it's ridiculous. Like, if you don't work, you don't get paid unless you are physically disabled and you can prove it.
Yeah.
You can actually prove it. And if you can't, you're not getting money. But anyway, that's where it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's episode. Again, you can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spotify. You can check us out at the All American Savage Show podcast. Make sure you follow the Instagram. It's All American Savage Podcast. Follow me at John Burke 11B, John Burke 11B. And make sure you check us out there. And also shellshockcbd.com. We really thank you for all the love and the support that you've shown us throughout the 2 years we've been in business. We're on year 3 now. Really can't thank you enough for all of that. I'm going to cue the music there. Again, you missed it. You fucking missed it. When I'm doing the outro, you got to do oh my God. I can't even with this guy. What? I can't even with you. It's too late. It's too late. You just ruined it for me. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we love you. We appreciate you. Again, shellshockcbd.com. Come support a veteran-owned business. We do it right. We appreciate your love and support. You got anything to add, my man?
I love you guys so much.
Love you so much.
So much.
The truckers up in Canada, keep up the fight. You got a lot of support from us down here in America. We love you. We support you. We encourage you to continue taking the fight to the government. And here in America, I think hopefully it's going to continue doing the same thing here. We hope. If there is a trucker thing that's heading from freaking L.A. to D.C., they should just stay put in L.A. and block L.A. Let's fucking do it in California. Fuck D.C. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it. We'll see you. Go leave us a review on the iTunes show. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, you stay savage, America.